What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Esparza, coming to you with another great installment of Running the Gauntlet, a Grappling Hour spinoff where we see how clever our friends in the jiu-jitsu community can be. I mean, it's true. We basically give them prompts. We like to see how creative they can be. And a lot of these guys say they're funny, but are they? Nah, most of them are very nice and fun and relatable. But before we get to the topics at hand and our guest, a returning favorite here on the show, we have a few things to plug and or promote. First and foremost, if you enjoy the show and you want to support us, you can go on over to patreon.com/grappling hour, and you can see my interviews with many great guests 30 days before anybody else will see them. And if you want to pay a few extra bucks per month, you can see extra bonus content not available anywhere else, including fight studies or tape studies that we do with the athletes where they watch their matches or their fights with me. There is a segment called Roast Rap where people roast my competition footage. And we're also about to do a Road to ADCC, although I guess now it's kind of like maybe it's the B show. We're not quite sure here. But we're essentially going to look at how people make their way to the big dance. So if you guys are just tuning in right now, thank you so much. What's up, Daniel? What's up, Davey? We appreciate you guys very much. You can also do the following. If you want to support the show, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Give a rating and a review. Every little bit helps us here on the show, and we very much appreciate it. And additionally, if you guys ever want to like, comment, and subscribe, that means the world to us. If you don't know what you want to comment on by the end of this video, we will give you something to talk about. For example, we got friends in here like Train Angry, who I'm sure is going to enjoy a few of these topics, and Noah Chen and Scotty. You guys are all showing up. I love you guys. All right, great. Our guest, let's get to him right now. He made a great debut whenever we brought him on, I want to say about 6 months or so ago, on this show. Easily relatable, very funny, very easygoing. He is not only a coach over with the prestigious B team, but of course they've been in the news greatly. But while Craig Jones is out covering and being a war journalist, this man is holding it down at B team, teaching the fundamentals class, and I believe in the future looking to become a fireman. So we wanted to catch up with our good friend, JB Bechtloff. How are you doing, good sir?
Doing good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Dude, it is a pleasure to see you back here again. It's been too long. I guess I have to say, where did this whole fireman thing come from, sir? Like, what's going on here?
As many jiu-jitsu athletes will probably relate, unless you're Craig Gordon or Nick Rod, jiu-jitsu skills are not necessarily paying the bills. So I was looking for something that I could do that would still allow me to train. And if I become a firefighter, basically working like 2-3 days a week, so I'd still be able to train pretty much full time and have great insurance. Yeah, that's pretty much where that went. It's also cool to give back and save people. It's exciting.
I guess my question is here, with the gear that you have to wear, like my brain thinks like, oh, it's almost like you're putting on a gi now. So all this time you spend doing no gi, going from wrestling to jiu-jitsu, now it looks like every time you put on the whole getup for being a fireman, I'm like, well, this dude's essentially wearing a gi now.
That's actually one of the harder parts, like learning how to get dressed quick. That was a huge part of the academy that I didn't expect to be as difficult as it was. But I guess I'm doing some gi survival.
Well, not just survival, but also helping to take care of people. And I think that's not only admirable, but we're super happy for you. And here's my thing, dude. I don't know if you know this about me, but every time I hear that somebody's coming up with an alternate plan or a way to make money in the jiu-jitsu sphere, I'm always very happy for them. So I'm like, yo, bro, go get your money, go do your thing. So I saw those things happening and it just made me happy because I was like, yo, that's really cool. So I definitely wanted to catch up there. I guess I should be asking this. Is it saying fix the echo, please? Oh, my apologies. That's very strange. I never really have the echo on my side. Give me 1 second here, guys. Well, you just heard the echo right there, so I have no idea why that's happening, but normally we have something called echo cancellation, so I hope that works for you guys. But, okay, so when this does happen, though, sir, what exactly is the training look like for you?
Like in the Fire Academy
For the Fire
or,
Academy, yes.
Man, just get. So what I did an academy to get my TCFP, which is like your certification to become a firefighter. And in that academy, like I said, you learn how to get dressed quickly. You go into some live burns. So they do like simulations where they set a building. They set like hay on fire in a building. You got to go in there and pull out dummies. You learn how to like fold hose, control hose when it's spraying water. Super powerful. That's actually pretty fun, but it's like a big gun, I guess. It can potentially knock you on your ass. And then just like protocol and all that kind of stuff. There's definitely some strength and conditioning aspect to it, but my background in like college wrestling and jiu-jitsu, I feel like that part is it's nothing compared to what I go through on a daily basis. So I feel pretty ready for that part.
Well, I mean, here's the nice part is whenever you've gone through something as tough as wrestling, you end up finding your way to kind of maneuver and navigate. So I do believe that for you. Thank you for the notes, you guys. I did see it. I think I have a quick fix to get around it. Actually, I think why this is modifying. So I think I now just fixed everything. If you guys continue to hear it over in the sound system, my apologies. But yes, thank you guys for the notes. They were saying your microphone was coming back a little bit to them. So I'm keeping an eye on it and an ear on it. All right, sir. So you picked one of these, but you don't know the other 5. Do you have any fear on any of these prompts?
No, I'm not afraid. That's no, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, so you are fearless. You're going Daredevil into this.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, let's go straight into it, sir. You pick the first one on where you want to start. Where would you like to start?
Let's go rank. That could get interesting.
Oh, you want rank? Okay,
yeah,
you are picking. What I will say is you are picking the hardest one for me first. To put up because this actually involves some graphics. So let's see if this one comes through. Going in 3, 2, 1. Rank. All right, sir. What I have for you is I need you as a sparkling water connoisseur to rank the following LaCroix flavors from best to worst. And they are tangerine, berry, lemon, and lime. So I need you to rank these in the best way as possible. So tell me which one would be your worst out of those 4.
Honestly, I'm usually a big berry guy, but with LaCroix, I think berry's going to be the worst one on this list.
All right, so we're going berry is the worst.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the second worst?
The orange one, what was that flavor again?
That one's tangerine.
Yeah, so I'll go tangerine, second worst. And this is hard to even say worst. I think they're all great.
You got 2 seconds.
Come on. Lemon in front of lime.
So you're going to go lemon and then, so lime is going to go here?
Yeah.
And then lemon is here. All right. So this is your final here. So this is berry, tangerine, lime, and lemon. So lemon would be your best on these.
Lemon's my favorite with LaCroix, yeah.
Okay, I need you to defend this order because I tried to put them as universal out of order as possible here, but this does surprise me.
Yeah, I like I said, usually a big berry guy. I feel like if there's added sweetener, like the berry one probably takes the cake. But as far as like non-sweetened sparkling water, I think lemon and lime are just classic. Get that at the restaurant when you go there so you can like replicate it. It's adaptable.
Okay. So that's kind of where you're going to stand on that one. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. On the show, you take one stab at it, and now I'm going to get a stab at it here in a second. But what I really want to make sure you understand is there's right answers here. There are definitely right answers. Okay, so I want to make sure you understand that when I respond here, because it's about to get very precise on what it is that I'm going through. Because when I put up these rank ones, people think to themselves, they're like, oh, there's no wrong answer. I can just I can do whatever it is. No, there's very much a right answer here. We're
Do
going
you
to
have
get
like
to
the
it.
statistical analysis or what?
I mean, this is more common sense and good taste. And
Okay, fair,
you know,
fair. Less
I mean,
subjective.
listen, dude,
Okay.
we don't quite have the Family Feud survey says yet, but I'm pretty sure in
Right.
the future we'll get a family out in Atlanta to give us 100 answers, and we'll see what those things come back in the future. But for right now, I'm going to give you my take on these. So I'm going to take the camera off of you. There is 1 minute now on me. All right. So if I am ranking these, let's go in the right order that they're supposed to be. So this is how JB had it. Clearly, this is wrong. All right. First and foremost, I'm going to go with lemon clearly at the bottom. Like, I don't.
Wow.
Oh, no. You got to let me finish here. I got 35 seconds to
Okay.
rearrange this. So then I'm actually going to move this up. Same thing with lime. Lime is not going to be at the top of this list. Afterwards, I'm
Right.
pushing down berry and I'm going to come on over here. Tangerine is clearly the number one. Now, let me go ahead and give my reasoning here. First and foremost, if you're going over with this lemon, what are you asking for? Lemon at like a waiter to bring a little lemon in your water? Boo. Next thing over here, dude, if you want lime, just get a fucking margarita. Next thing on over, berry. I have to say, I understand where you're coming from and why it's your bottom, but here, at the very least, I don't feel like I'm chewing some sort of dumb fruit instead of just drinking it. Like, these two are making me feel like I'm just not smart enough to have water by itself. This one over here is like the entry level, and this one's the acceptable one. Like, this is the one that I can get down with. Now, I can tell you, there's one person in entertainment, a very prominent person who is a comedian, if you would, who I worked on their show.
Yeah.
And we were told to always have this one on hand. So this one and this one, if we did not have them on hand, that we would, like, they made it out to be the biggest thing in the world. That's like, yo, if you don't have it there, you're going to lose your job. And I was always like, this is the stupidest gig in the entire world. And that's how I became addicted to these things. Because also I'm a child and drinking water be hard.
But
So
your daily consumption of LaCroix is what? How many are you drinking a day?
Fun story. I don't even drink LaCroix. I just needed. So I had a discussion with another former guest, and I told him, I'm like, real talk here. I get the Aldi version, which is V. Now, I've heard people talk about Waterloo and other stuff like this, but Bellevue actually cheaper, just the same, and their version of berry is actually much better than the LaCroix. Like at a fraction of the cost.
I am a big Waterloo guy.
You're a big Waterloo guy?
Yeah, I would pick Waterloo over LaCroix.
And you know what?
I'm big on bubbles, so if it's LaCroix or regular water, I'm going to go LaCroix for sure.
So like some people here, like the guy who I talked to, he was basically saying, why don't you use Waterloo? He's like, I'm a bigger Waterloo fan. I was like, fam, people don't know Waterloo like flavors. Like, at least if you hate LaCroix, you know their flavors.
Yeah.
But you told me that you were a huge sparkling water fan. So where does this fascination, when did you become addicted to this? Because for me, it's replacing sodas. So like I've been able to reduce it down over the years, but like I still have like an occasional one soda or two. Where does this come for you, sir?
Like growing up, I wasn't allowed to drink soda and stuff. So that was like that was a non-issue for me. But I'm a chugger. I chug liquid, especially after training sessions when I lose like 6 or 8 pounds or something like that and I need to replenish. If I just get regular water, I slam it and then I'm waterlogged and it's like, and I hate that. So the bubbles slow me down and give me the burps so I can keep consuming large amounts of water at a controlled rate and I don't feel super waterlogged afterwards. And when I was cutting weight in wrestling, because I wrestled at 174 pounds and I'm like 6'2", 200 pounds most of the time. So that's a pretty tough area for me to stay in. So the bubbles also help keep me full and like satiated, you know. So it kind of happened in college, I guess, is the answer to that question.
I feel that. I totally understand that. And I would tell you this. that I'm the same way, that normally if I just finished training and let's say like it's an hour long marathon roll or like a really intense session, I am like racing for one of these because I go, I need it to at least hydrate me and to make me slow down, because I it's not that drinking water is bad, but drinking it in the disgusting way that I'll drink something after I'm that thirsty is like, somebody might look at me and be like, something's wrong with Raph. I don't know that he's okay.
100%. 100%, dude. Yeah, it slows you down. Keeps you under control. It's good.
But in response to your earlier question, I'd say I'd go through about 2 or 3 of those per day. Like, easy.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. I'm drinking like 2 or 3 right after training. That's like immediate. And then like 2 or 3 more at dinner. We go through cases of sparkling water here like you wouldn't believe. I actually really like the Pellegrino, but it's a bit more expensive. And I haven't seen, there is flavored ones, but they have added sugar usually. So if I'm going to have one of those, it's right after training.
That's smart. And I'm glad you recognize that, because every time they come up with like a new energy drink, especially when you're a kid, you're like, Gatorade's bad. And they go, yeah, Gatorade's real bad. You go, okay, well, I'll replace it with something else. And then whatever the something else was, I'm like, oh, that's bad too. What the fuck can I drink?
Yeah. You can't win. I can go on a rant on energy drinks too. The amount of caffeine that they're putting in these drinks is absurd. Like Heisem is my roommate, and he gets shipped all these different energy drinks from different people trying to sponsor him and stuff. And I'll, of course, try some because there's so many, and they're free for him, so no issue. But I look at how much caffeine is in it, like 250, 200. I'm like, dude, 150 max, dude. 150 max.
Yeah, and I mean,
other than that, it's like I'm having a heart attack. I'm having palpitations. I can't train right after I drink that.
Well, you do know that you're one of the smart folks at B Team, because you do have an advanced degree, and I don't know how much that comes to haunt you, but when that does happen, you can't speak facts to these guys who are just like, I don't know, my heart feels good, so I can train harder. And you're like, no, that's your heart telling you don't.
Yeah, Declan Moody is the worst. He loves himself a white monster, and I don't know how he consumes so many of those and still trains at such a intensity. I'm worried he's going to have a heart attack, but he seems to be doing all right.
We got a note here from Daniel Romero, who said, LaCroix is so acidic, though. So here's the thing. We both have said in our own ways, we don't do LaCroix. Like,
not as often, yeah.
No. I mean, listen, dude, in a pinch, I feel like it's the reverse world now, where back in the day, if you went over to somebody's house and they'd be like, do you have this beer or this soft drink? They would feel like they're apologizing. Now, if people have LaCroix, I go like, oh, if I have to, I'll drink it. Like, I don't try to shame them, but I just go like, yeah, sure. Okay, I'll have it. But when I come home, this nice little thing. This is so cheap and so good. You know what? I think there's a chance I could get sponsored by them. So I'm gonna watch my P's and Q's with them. But I'll definitely say in the future, this is the stuff that keeps me a little less fat.
Oh, also, I don't know how I didn't mention this. Liquid Death. I drink a ton of Liquid Death.
You know, I did it once or twice.
Where I get the Liquid Death and I get a Gatorade, and I like there's a Gatorade that has more electrolytes and less sugar than the other Gatorades. The bottle's shaped a little different. It's like a rectangular shaped bottle instead of a cylindrical shaped bottle.
Yeah.
And I'll get that and a Liquid Death and mix it in one of these gigantic. Can't even see it in the.
I did see it. Is that?
Cups. Yeah, and that is probably my favorite post-training concoction. I've showed many of the international visitors, and they also love it. It's amazing if you haven't tried it. It's incredible.
I appreciate you being. I always refer to the smart person sometimes as the smart gremlin in the Gremlins movie. That basically is showing the other gremlins how to not be electrocuted or not get killed. And I'm like, no, it's smart gremlin here. Okay, good. So good job, sir. Make sure to keep the kids electrolyted and healthy. All right.
Yeah.
We just did our first one. I think it's time to go to our second topic. Sir, where do you want to go?
Let's go pitch.
Pitch it is. Oh, this one actually went on me. I need to put the camera over on you. And here we go here in just a second, sir. The pitch for you is as follows. Our pal Chris Wojcik just got his invite for ADCC. Make your pitch right now for one person you'd like to see at CJI and one person you'd like to see at ADCC.
Oh man. Oh. What weight class at ADCC?
You can do any weight class you want. It's open, so you have all at disposed.
We got a guy in our gym that terrorizes the gym that isn't super well known right now. His name's Nick Mattia. If they could squeak him in at 77, I would love to see that. Or 88. Honestly, he can do either one. He's an absolute terror. He wrestles really well. His passing is phenomenal. He doesn't really have any holes in his game. He hasn't had the best luck on the scene. Something seems to go wrong right before comp, just like Nicky Ryan. So he's one I'd want to see at ADCC. CJI, I'd really love to see Gordon in that, honestly. I think that would be so cool because I feel like all the best big guys have kind of moved over to CJI. The little guys are kind of staying at ADCC because it's only two weight classes, like under 80 and over 80. So I feel like the 66 ADCC is just as bad as it was before. The 77 is pretty much just as tough as it was. I feel like it's mostly like the under 88, under 99, and the over 99 that are going over to CJI. So I want to see Gordon or Nicholas Marigali go over there and do that because I think the best guys at their size or really at any size are going to be at CJI. So that would obviously be super entertaining.
I find that fascinating because it almost looked like it was by design at a certain point. And I think here's the weird part. Craig is so diabolical and clever that I think some people give him even more credit. And then he hears the response and he's like, yeah, that was it. Yep. And so I go, I think he's got enough awareness because one of the things that you saw from this was, oh, maybe Gordon doesn't have as much of a division here as he used to. So it won't feel as big of a win. And I thought about that and I go, I don't understand how that could ever be a prompt when the whole idea is, hey, we're trying to give you money. Do you guys want to win money? And I guess we found that the answer for some people is no. So people have their reasons. I totally get that. But it was fascinating to find specifically in Gordon's division that it went down in half. And then for a split second, Felipe Pena and Gordon Ryan had a super fight on the ADCC website, which was incredibly confusing. And even if that was just to, one, troll us, or two, spark some interest to see, would you guys like this? Would this be something fun to watch? I just find myself incredibly confused. But it did make me wonder. I was like, damn, if Craig really did target that division, that is an impressive troll job.
He's way more aware than people give him credit for. He's super intelligent with that kind of stuff. And obviously the wrong guy to talk trash to online. I don't know what people are thinking when they insult him and put it in writing when you know he's just going to twist it on you and make you look like a fool.
I do want to point this out. And I won't get into major specifics here. But Craig has been treated a certain way and responded as such. Many of these culprits have done very similar things to different people, just not Craig. So when it's happened to different people, they've kind of gotten away with it for some time. This time, they just made a miscalculation on somebody with the following and as much good favor as Craig. And now I find it hilarious because I go like, oh, that's definitely happened to me. Oh, I've definitely had that happen. Oh, and definitely if somebody has said exactly those words to me. The difference is I don't have as much power as Craig. So now I'm just sitting over to the side and being like, oh, did they talk to you like that? Yeah. Well, I'm just over here on the side. This is just fun. So you guys tell me what's happening. I have no response or ability here. I can tell people this, though. I still think both events are going to end up being fine. And I'm seeing a handful of people like looking to see Chris Wojcik get his call up. Like, I don't even want to celebrate Adam Bradley's call up like it was something that we should be like, we did it. It's like he should have gotten that. So I'm happy for him.
That's crazy.
But to, you know, there was a moment where one of my friends sent me a thing that was like, yo, Bradley got the call up. And I was like, cool. And he goes,
yeah, he should have been at the call, dude.
If that
they're
like
2 points, then like, I don't know what is, dude. And I also am I'm a big deep half guy, unfortunately. Not super mobile, not super good at guard retention in any other way. And most of my game off bottom is trying to wrestle up anyways. So the fact that he did it from deep half also made me super happy. And what's also crazy is he hit that same guy with that same sweep at the last trials, and it was points. And that's actually how he beat him.
Yep.
So it's baffling to me that they can say that it was points the last time he did it and not points this time when he held him on his hip even longer this time than he did last time. I don't know, dude.
You know what it is it's inconsistency, and it's one that is maddening when we say that we want this to be a spectator friendly sport, and yet
True.
Okay, listen, football has its flags, it has its issues as well. But at the very least, people have enough of a broad idea of how a flag works in football that they then have that outrage. I think in our world, we had a lot of people outraged because they go, how is that not points? Like, from its conception, top to bottom.
That's it.
Like, that should be the simplest version of this. And he did go from top to bottom. And sometimes it's a matter of how long did he control them. But in this respect, you're like, well, top to bottom did happen. So now explain to me how it didn't work. And, I had put up there, I was like, the ADCC doesn't really have PR, so they didn't say what it was. And we had one person tell me, I think it's Style Jitsu, that said, hey, Mo explained it on an Instagram Live. And I go, those disappeared. That's not a real response. Like, Adam Silver or Roger Goodell doesn't do an Instagram Live and be like, well, here's the explanation, deuces, and then it just goes away. Like, there's a statement, there is some kind of full explanation. So when it doesn't happen, we sit here and we're scratching our heads and we go, this is the best we got. And we just got to take it at face value. So when you see somebody like Adam Bradley and you see him get his call up, you think, okay, good. And I couldn't muster anything other than texting him and being like, about fucking time. And, I'm happy for him.
Because he comes and trains with us. He's super talented. I will say also, though, Pixley is somebody that I do want to see at ADCC as well. I think he definitely deserves
I
to
think
be there.
That's a weird, how do I put this? I think that's a weird situation that Pixley is taking as a result of the situation. Now, my thing was this. I said, why don't you, if you are so bound on not breaking your word or not looking foolish, that's why you have invites. And then it became known that, guess what? They had already promised another invite before the second trials happened. So when you look at that, you say that process doesn't seem right. So if that's the case,
I don't think he should be promising invites because, I mean, who am I, right? But like, I know a lot of people that have had to deal with like getting promised an invite and then not getting it. Sorry, I'm plugging into my charger here.
You're good. Thank you for doing that, by the way.
Yeah, no problem. But I think that you just can't promise people invites because then it just gets all sticky and people get their feelings hurt.
But that's the reason why you have those invites as like safety nets or as, hey, this person would be compelling here and they've been on a run. And I get it. Like now ADCC is getting to the point where it is harder for friends to get the friend entry. So I get that. And I actually think that's been one of the benefits of having Craig Jones Invitational happen is there are some deserving people like right on the bubble. But in Bradley's case, it was like, well, this is clearly a logistical fuck up. And now he gets to go in and all that dude wants is his shot and he deserved it. And now I'm glad he gets to have it. Having said that, secretly, I did want him to get the $10,000 to show up. But guess what? Now it looks like he might be getting $2,500 to show up, and that's not nothing. So can't be mad about that.
As we know how Craig is, I think a lot of getting invited to CJI is being invited to ADCC so he can,
I'm with you on this. And listen, I'm not here to tell Craig had to do any of this. One of the best parts of this has just been watching from the sidelines, and I am hoping to get to do the pre and post show, and I have sent him as much. I think we'll be talking about it at some point in the near future, but I definitely want to anchor that thing because I feel like we could do that well for him, and we know all the talent, but yeah, man, my involvement is just sitting on the sidelines and going like, what happened today? Ooh, who woke up angry today?
It's too fun. It's too
Ooh,
fun
this
to
is
just
fun. Ooh, this person hates this
get your
person
popcorn.
now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's still quite a few more spots that need to be filled. So
I
I'm
think there's
sure.
half of the spots for the Craig Jones Invitational. And I'm
Yeah,
looking
so I'm
right
sure we're still
now.
going to get some more good upsets here.
I hope so. Let me give you mine real quick, and then we'll move on to another topic here in a second. But in response to who I'd like to see get the invite over, let me go on back on over to, that was Pitch. All right, we're taking the camera off you on this one, and I have the remaining time to walk you through it. All right, let me talk to you guys about who I think should get an invite here to the Craig Jones Invitational. You said Gordon. I thought that was pretty good. I'd take Felipe Pena, and here's why. Why wouldn't you want to deny Gordon his rematch that he wants again? Because at this point, Gordon just wants to put the nail in the coffin, and if you're truly Craig, you want to steal that from him. You want to take that ability to say, like, because the nice part is here, people forget Felipe still has more wins than Gordon on this little feud of theirs. He just has a very prominent win that he spun into while he quit, so that counts for 2, right? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. So if you're really trolling in that way, if you're not doing that, Mika not coming, that one hurts. I would have liked to have seen him. And I'm hearing rumors that the Rotolos can't because of their ONE FC contract. But I will tell you this. If I were the Rotolos and I had lawyers, I would have them look into that because the Craig Jones Invitational did not exist. So it's hard to basically figure out what events you could not be a part of if they did not exist. It's so at Factor, lawyer talk, go figure that out. Because to me, I'm like, yo, those are guys I want. And then at ADCC, sure. I mean, most of my friends are getting invited now. So
that's where I'm at too.
I'm kind of in a good spot. Like I would say the people who I was riding the hardest for are getting their due. Like I just saw Aiken got his, stoked for him. I saw Wojcik got his, Bradley got his. I think we're doing pretty well. So if I think of somebody in the near future, I will do it. But I wanted to give that little thing. So Felipe Pena, and you know, if you're not going to get any of those other guys, let me just bring up one other name. Let me just put in a nice little thing here. Let me look at the 77ers. Dante Leon would be great.
Yeah. I don't understand anybody that's that is like 66 guys, I understand, but if you're 77 and you're capable of winning that bracket, I mean, even if you're not, I can't imagine sticking with ADCC and not accepting the 10 grand to show, knowing that you can just re-qualify for ADCC any other time. Like, who knows if CJI is going to happen again? Like, and dude, I don't know how these guys are doing financially, but 10 grand sounds nice. You can reinvest that. You can make a lot of money off that, you know? And if you win it $1 million, dude, that's absolutely life-changing regardless.
Dude, you're speaking too many facts to these guys who are all about loyalty. What I do feel, though, is something interesting is going to happen when we see who wins it. Something interesting is going to...
ADCC or CJI?
Both. Because you're going to see who wins CJI. And some of these guys who might have been told or politically not allowed to go compete elsewhere may see who won, and then they might have feelings about that. So I would watch those interviews to see if those people have things to say about the people who win at Craig Jones Invitational. Because no matter who wins, they will downplay it. And I feel like a smart promoter would be able to take that and make that into a Super Bowl. I believe the egos of ADCC would not allow them to look like they need anybody else. But there is a ADCC versus CJI that could really be an NFC versus AFC aspect. But I don't think they'll do it because it would admit that they're on the same level. But to all of us fans, we'd like to see it. Now, the interesting thing is if they go the Fiona approach and they say, I don't need you. I'll just do this on my own. We'll get more money from another organization because it's champ versus champ. But I have to tell you this. JB, if you called me out and I won $1 million, I will have the most deaf ears you have ever seen in my entire life. Sure. because I'll be like, what? JB, I can't hear you. This pile of money I have to sleep on. Oh, you would beat me? Sounds great, dude. This pile of money is so nice. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter at that point. Now you're just going for the real prestige. But I think you might see some of the ADCC people angle for that afterwards. And if they're smart, that's
totally
what I would hope.
They totally should. That would be. I don't know how that didn't come to my mind, but yeah, that's an absolute home run. Somebody will take advantage of that. I'm betting. And
I'm
dude, a
just
lot of these
waiting,
guys
man.
are just straight dogs and competitors. Like, cause I'm right there with you. Grimy, Officer Grimy. He had a match against Andrew Tackett, and he caught him in a knee bar, and that win would have aged really nicely. But Grimy's a dog. When they brought up a rematch, he accepted it. For me, that would have fallen on deaf ears. I'm not trying to fight that kid again. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. But that's probably why I'm not at ADCC. You know what I mean? That's probably why I'm not on CJI, because those guys freaking have the dog in them. They love to compete and they want to prove that they're the best. So I think for like a more normal person, yeah, it would fall on deaf ears. Like, I have $1 million, respectfully, fuck off. But like, I think these guys are dogs. I think some promoter will come out and take huge advantage of that, and I think they will get it
Potentially,
done.
but I mean, let's put it this way. That money that was yesterday is not the same today. So making that match happen does become a little bit harder. And now, if you're the guy who's made a lot more money, you can call yourself the A side and you can be like, well, now you got to pay me a lot more. And if that is the case, you're good. If that is the case, then maybe that match doesn't happen in any other form other than good sportsmanship, like to appeal to that sportsman value. It basically becomes like that's the only appeal you've got. So it's something that I've thought deeply about as we've been getting into this. But JB, I also just realized, I was like, wait a minute. If I was to be in the Craig Jones Invitational, currently as fat as I am, I would be in plus 80 kilograms, which means I would be in your division. So it does not seem like a fair world. So I will respectfully decline my invitation. I want that 10K and $1 to go to someone more deserving than me.
Oh, dude. If they can't fill any spots, I'll gladly jump in there and be a first round matchup for anybody, dude. I'll take 10K for that. And I love the idea. He's doing it in the pit. I really think after seeing Karate Combat, I think the pit is I think that's how grappling should be done. It solves so many of the issues of ref interference, people going out of bounds, stalling. I think the pit is great. And then the rule set, as far as like scoring, the MMA scoring system, I think that's kind of cool too. I'm not sure how that's going to pan out, if that's going to be any less confusing than ADCC. But I think one of the issues with sport jiu-jitsu right now is that it's almost like ADCC, it's so hard to score, right? It's like really hard because you take someone down or you sweep them and they can go to turtle, and then it's not points for you. Whereas like in wrestling, when you get taken down, third point of contact touches the floor, boom, hips are covered, that's points. And I feel like it gives the fans more to get excited about. It allows the fighters to open up more. I think scoring, it's too difficult to score, and I think that results in a lot of stalling because people are scared to open up, and they don't want to like make that one mistake because they know it's going to be super hard to get back on the board. I was actually talking with Kieran about this the other day. What if they did a match where instead of the submission being the end of the match, they see who can get more submissions before the time is up, and then whoever has more subs at the end of the time is going to get the win. I think that would
So
be
it's like an
exciting.
Iron Man match. In pro wrestling,
that's
it's
how you train. You know what I mean? When you train, you don't get tapped and then the round's over. You get tapped and then he's tired from that and you're a little pissed off, so you come back at him harder, and then you get him again. You know what I mean? I would love to see like Max Hansen, Kieran Kachuk on some kind of, because they're 1-1 right now. I would love to see that match where it's like, let's see who can get more subs in 10 minutes, because those guys are both dogs and submission
hold up.
machines.
Both those boys aren't doing anything, right?
That would be a good. That would be super good. I think people would pay to watch that. And we had this idea because Joseph is in town right now, and Jay and him are both getting ready for the WNO, and we watched them do a 15-minute match like the whole gym did, and it was so cool to see them go back and forth and like catch each other and just keep catching each other, and it was like so entertaining, and I was like, man, that should be a rule set.
Yeah, dude, I'm a huge pro wrestling fan, and some of the best concepts, they call them an Iron Man match, so it goes for an hour. Now, I don't think we need to go like that, but whenever I've adopted the name to, like, if I roll with one person, we'll do what I call like marathon rounds. And the whole purpose is I just put on a clock for an hour and I just say, like, let's just train. And, you know, it's tough because some people don't do that well. Like, some people mentally don't like getting caught in the first 2 minutes, but I'm always like, hey, if you get caught in 2 minutes and you don't take this well and you're not a good training partner, I'll put up time on the rounds. Like, I don't mind. And this is not with the intention I'm going to beat up everybody. It's like, hey, this is just good training for me. I'm not trying to do anything other than getting good training. And you find that because it is so intense of a thing, I could only imagine what that would do for high level competitors in a 20 or 30 minute region. Like, I think you would see some stuff open up. And I mean, what ends up happening is sometimes one person gets on a run. And if they get on a run, dude, that shit sucks. When you're like, damn, dude, this person caught me twice in like 2 minutes, but for 20 minutes didn't do shit to me. So yeah, it's totally. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, Dale Romero, he, like, one of the guys in the comment section, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Dude, when I was rolling with Daniel, he like popped part of my elbow and I was like, well, I could still roll. It doesn't feel bad, but like clearly that's going to be not good for me. And he was kicking my ass that day. And I was just like, damn, this sucks. But it was great training for me. And I'm not really hurt. It just means like, how do I work around this for that day? So Daniel, you come through, man. It's your turn to come on up to me. Last time he was running away. So I want to point that out. I went to go visit his gym and he was like, you owe me a visit. I was like, all right, I'm here. And he's like, I have to go. And I was like, like, it's not a close thing here in LA. So he's got to show up. What's up, Hobo Joe? All right. So let's go to our next topic here, sir. Where would you like to go next?
I guess we'll go massage. I'm really curious where that could go.
Message.
I'm an idiot.
No, you know what? I have to say that out loud because part of me thought, did I spell it wrong? Because
no, that's my bad.
No, legitimately, that could be an issue. So I was like, oh shit, did I fucking spell it wrong? All right, let's go to.
No, let's go message. This is my
message.
brain there.
Message it is. This week we were reminded that no good text gets sent after 4:55 a.m. What is the most regrettable late night text you have ever sent?
Oh man, jeez, that gets personal. You know, that like, I'm even a believer nothing good really happens after midnight. You know, but probably just something to an ex-girlfriend, just being sad and being a simp. I don't have a specific message in mind, but that's probably the most regrettable thing, is something sent to a female after hours, you know, just like, oh, come back, you know. Like, but I don't have anything off the top of my head.
All good. We can cut that one slightly short. I was curious because famously this week there were some not great texts that arrived in someone's DMs, perhaps the best troller in all of jiu-jitsu. And I just thought to myself, of all people you're gonna just send the DM to, that's not the guy.
That's not the guy, dude. It's not the guy. And like, also go to sleep, dude. Like, what are you doing awake right now? Like, I put my phone away at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then I go to bed. I don't look at it again until the next morning when I wake up. Get your sleep, bud. You'll be better off, you know?
Yeah, okay. Let me give mine. Rage texts. Rage texts are a thing, Angry. Yeah, you would know. You would 100% understand that world. Let me go to mine on message, or you know what, massage, which by the way, once you did mention massage, there was a part of me that was like, what the hell was the prompt that I could have come up with that? Is it like,
That's
what's
what
the
I
best
was.
massage you got? And then if you have certain guests, they're going to be like, ooh, I can't wait to tell you this happy ending. It's like, no, 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 that's not what I want here.
No. Yeah,
That's not what we're doing. All right, let's go to my version here. And let me talk to you guys about what I have sent out. What is regrettable? I mean, for the most part, I don't send out too many texts that I don't love or like. But if we're talking in the jiu-jitsu realm, um, I would say I'm a little bit of a stickler on my own spelling. So if I've drank a little bit and I've seen that my syntax or my grammar is a little off, I get really mad at myself the next morning. But from the jiu-jitsu aspect, I have definitely been drunk and agreed to do training in the morning because I was like, I need to work this off. I drank too much tonight. And then I have woken up with a hangover, and I have definitely been like, I promised this person I was going to train. This is the worst idea anybody has ever had.
I think we've all done that. We've all done that, dude.
Okay, hold on, JB. Let me point this out to you. You're decent at jiu-jitsu. I am not. So when I promise these civilians or my friends, these are people who range from just casuals to, oh no, they're murderers, like top tier talent. And there've definitely been some top tier talent that I've been like, yo, you're in town? That's fine. Let's train tomorrow. Let's do 11 a.m. And I'm thinking like 11 a.m. will be safe. I'll get up by 9. I'll be refreshed. Nope. I'm getting up by 10. I'm looking at the shower being like, shower, please wake me the fuck back up.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And then I'll get there.
I'm the psycho that you would text and I would be there waiting for you. I'm always on the other end of that. I'm always the guy that's like, where are you, bro? You know, that's funny.
Let me point this out. Let's not get this twisted. I don't get drunk all the time. I'm saying I've done this once or twice. I am the same guy that you are, which is I show up and I'm like, where are you? And they'll be like, hey, man. And I go, no, you're not. Show the fuck up. Like, I despise with a capital D when people cancel training because I am very regimented. I am very much the guy that says, I do an interview now. I do an interview later. I have specifically done those interviews at those times because training happens at night. And if someone's like, I can't train at night, I go, then you're making me fat. And if you are making me fat, this is bad news for me. And yes, I could go to a class tonight, but guess what? I didn't schedule it. So now I'm going to be late to that class. And I hate being the asshole that walks in that just goes like, hi, sorry. Yeah. And the worst part is
that's actually a huge thing that I love about B team is I know every day at noon, all the toughest guys are going to be there. I don't have to reach out to anyone. I don't have to set anything up. I don't have to worry about getting canceled on. Because like when I lived in Dallas, there's a lot of tough jiu-jitsu guys in Dallas, but they're all on different teams. And like this coach has issues with this coach and this coach has issues with this coach. So we have to like coordinate where we're going to go, what time we're going to go so we can still be at our home gym for those classes. And then like people cancel last minute and then you miss like your pro training, you know? Sucks. That's one thing I really like about V Team is I don't have to freaking worry about that. I can just show up at noon and everybody's going to be there ready to go.
And legitimately, you guys have enough talent that even if one or two of them show up, that's most people don't even have that. Like combine their forces.
They're rarely all in town at the same time. So like even if it's just like let's say Jay and Nick Rod are gone, you still have Nicky, Ryan, Damian, Ethan, that guy Nick that I was telling you about, me, Chris, like all these guys when Craig's always gone. So but to be honest, nobody really enjoys training with Craig that much. It's awful. He's so good, dude. I don't understand how he's Mr. Second Place. I feel like he definitely needs to be number one.
It shows you the level of how good and unfortunate the genie was in giving Gordon Ryan that in exchange for his soul. So, I mean, listen, dude.
It's hard to argue with that.
He is very good at that and not very good at many other things. So it did kind of equal out. Let's go to our next topic here, sir.
Sir.
You pick. Where would you like to go next?
Creative. I can read.
Creative it is. An NCAA wrestling champ recently came up with the following way to do something in his recent MMA debut by smashing his opponent's head into the mat. Tell me, what is the most creative thing that you have done as a grappler?
Whew. My game is really weird. So I feel like my game is creative in a way that basically I do really well right when people are about to score. Like I turtle, you put one hook in, or you get to like crucifix or one of these dominant positions, and then I'm really good about turning the tables on that. Or like if people shoot on me and get to my leg off of a takedown right when they're about to score, I'm really good at scrambling. So like the creativity of my offense out of defensive situations, I would say, is probably my most creative.
So that has to come from the wrestling background. Like that has to come from creating a sense of, oh shit, points might happen, which means I might lose.
Also, it comes from not being the superior athlete and just kind of accepting that people were going to get to good spots on me and just having to work from there. And also training with people constantly who are way better than me and just constantly having to work out of bad spots. So now I've figured out where I can go that's not points for them. And then they're more relaxed there, because with most people, that's pretty much the end. But with me, that's where I turn the tables and get on top. But yeah, I would say it comes from not being the superior athlete, not being the superior grappler, and just having to kind of work with what you got.
That works. I mean, listen, dude, I train with a bunch of mysteriously good jiu-jitsu people, and my gift is I'm a pretty decent counter puncher. So the only time it comes back to kind of haunt me is when I get a other good counter puncher and I go, uh-oh, this might look like the most boring roll in the world to somebody else.
Yeah.
But I also don't care, because I'm like, who, if you're watching this, you can find something better to do. No one told you to watch me roll, like, ever. And I have never advertised myself to be like, hey, you need to put this guy in a super fight. I'm like, I am negative ratings when it comes to jiu-jitsu. So no thank you. Let me give you my creative one, because I think people who know the show should probably know me well enough to know that this one is mine. My dumb gift, for better or worse, in all of jiu-jitsu is that I will always be able to find the pro wrestling variation of whatever it is people are doing to me. Now, what that means is, yes, if you go to Turtle, I know there's a DDT there. Yes, I know there's a pedigree there. I don't do those things to people. My brain thinks it, and it's like, don't do that. That's a mean thing to do. Now, what I've seen, though, is that, yes, I am the guy who you probably don't expect is going to end up hitting you with a Boston Crab. Now, I did this before a certain somebody who enjoys nose beers and has their own invitational did it. And now I see him reaping all the benefits, and I go, whoa, Craig, you've got other jiu-jitsu. This is like my one thing. Why are you doing this and taking the, and my favorite is people are like, yo, Raf, did you see how Craig did this? And I was like, yes. Yeah. I know how he did it. And they're like, isn't it so impressive? And I was like, it's impressive for me because I can't do anything else. But yes, the one party trick that this dude does that he has like 15 other party tricks, it's a little bit of a slap in the face. So yeah, that's my one beef. But that is my one creative thing in the world in all of jiu-jitsu and MMA.
That's whatever you can get, you know. I think if you do something humiliating to someone, as Craig says, that they'll go home and talk about it. So that's good for your brand ultimately, you know.
There is a kid who I recently rolled with, and so a Boston Crab is normally 2 legs, like you're kind of bridging back on them, that sort of a thing. It's hard to control.
Double ankle lock, right?
What's that? It's a double ankle lock, yes.
Yeah.
So when I get that on people, they're a little surprised, but if I don't know you, I don't tend to do it. So my rules are this. If you're a pro wrestling fan, I'll do it to you. I feel like you kind of know what's coming, so it's a little bit not like a surprise. And 2, I have to roll with you for a little bit because it legitimately can hurt your back. So I don't have control anything other than maybe my ability to maybe move your leg. But some of these wrestlers that I roll with, when I look like I'm about to attack their leg, do a sprint out. And I'm like, bro, you're going to fuck up your own leg. I'm not going to do shit.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing, dude. That's definitely a thing.
So when that happens, I try to go very easy, and I was rolling with somebody. I was at a gym. It's a good friend of mine. He sees me and he goes, "Hey man, did you just get a single leg Boston crab on that guy?" And I go, "I did." And I was like, I don't know him well enough, so I didn't do a full Boston crab. And then meanwhile, the kid's like, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's all good. Like, you can do whatever you want. And I was like, I know I can do whatever I want. I don't know you well enough, and I don't want to be mean. And the kid's like, invitation, like, you can, I don't know, maybe we'll see. And I was like, all right, well, now I'm going to definitely do it again. We roll again, and I catch him with it. And the owner of the place looks at me and he goes, "You decided to do it for real now?" And I was like, well, he told me I couldn't. So now it's kind of like a dare. So
now it's personal, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, dude, this is my Picasso-ness. This is what I'm good at. So let me paint a picture for you guys real quick. And I think everybody had a good laugh afterwards. All right, sir. We have a couple more topics here. Fire or don't?
Let's go fire.
Fire indeed. Good sir, JB, your prompt is as follows. Given your background of firefighting, if the B team suddenly were to go up in flames, who is the first teammate you are going to save and why?
Oh, shit. Probably Nicky Ryan. I'll save Nicky Ryan. He's got a bum ankle right now. He's always got something wrong, whether it's his knee or his ankle or his back or whatever. Just probably drag him out, get him out of there. He's the chosen one. Definitely Nicky Ryan's gonna be my first save.
Is he gonna be your only save? Do you think you would have time to go back and save anybody else?
I'll tell you what. I definitely don't need to save Nick Rod or J Rod. They're getting the fuck out of there. I'll save as many people as I can, but Nicky would probably be limping. He'd probably be on his phone, distracted. So I'd save Nicky first and then come back for whoever else I could. But the Rod Bros are getting out of there.
They are resourceful. I think you're right in that regard.
Yeah.
But
and same with Ethan. Ethan, you know where Ethan's getting out of there. He's a freaking animal. He's getting out of there.
I'm glad you've thought about this, because there was a part of me that when I put up this question, I go, I'm legitimately curious to figure out the psychology behind who you're going to save. And then when you were like, it's got to be Nicky Ryan. Like, you're talking some Skywalker, save him for the future. We need him. Sort of thing. And then like literally, I'm sure bodyguarding him out of this fire building and being like,
he's got because Craig is really good, but he's focused on other things. And Nicky is like an incredible wealth of knowledge in jiu-jitsu. I don't know if I've seen a more well-rounded jiu-jitsu athlete. He can out-wrestle college wrestlers. He can leg lockers. He can pass any guard. He can retain guard on anyone. Like, he is in the training room. I mean, you saw a glimpse of it against JT, what he's capable of recently. I do feel like for the most part, he's very much better in the training room, and like, such a good coach, and he's patient. He'll answer questions for anyone. And I think he's probably, outside of like DDS, he's probably got the most information, and he's not in he's not in DDS or whatever that is now, New Wave. So people have access to the information. So I would save Nicky. I feel like he's good for the sport for sure.
All right. Well, since I'm not saving anybody, I do not have the firefighting ability in me. We have already exhausted that topic, so you have one topic left. I must ask, are you ready for it, sir?
I guess so. Don't is always that's probably the one that makes me the most nervous, since massage isn't up there, you know.
By the way, I don't know that we've had anybody mistake the top prompt yet, but
leave it to me.
If anybody was, I don't know that they're going to top the comedic value in which you did mistake it. So it will be hard pressed. Like, I think you set a bar, but why don't we go to our last topic, which is don't. Okay, this one's hard for me. Dustin Poirier has announced that he is leaning towards retirement, but says he doesn't want to retire prematurely. Right here, right now, either make an appeal to convince him to either continue fighting or to follow his gut and call it a day on his fight career.
Oh, gosh. You see, this is such a difficult situation because he's been so close so many times, but I do feel like he is at the end of his run. I do believe you have a punch count. You can only take so many punches. I also hate to say it, but like I don't think he looked very good against Islam on the feet or on the ground really. I think it would be unless something went catastrophically wrong in that camp and like he's not disclosing that information, then I think it would be best for him to call it. Just get out while you're still healthy. You have a family, a kid, just keep that brain right and just ride off into the sunset. You're loaded. You don't need to do this anymore. I think he's done enough. He's already a legend.
I should probably just do mine. Get it out of the way.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, all right. This might. Don't like this. I came up with the prompt, so I could have easily have come up with anything else. But Dustin Poirier, here's my appeal to you. I tell people this all the time as an interviewer. It is your choice to make. Do not allow us to cloud any part of your judgment. But here's the reason why I put this prompt up. It's because you're not sure. And that worries me. Because in the past, I've heard you say, maybe I should call it a day. Maybe I hate these media obligations. And then you clarify it and you say, actually, I just hate the media stuff. I love the fighting. And now you're saying you're worried that if you go out, it might be a little bit too early. I just have to say this. I want you to keep fighting. I want one more fight. One of my friends in my friends group said, what about you versus Nate Diaz? Let's do that and call it a wrap. And the fact that I still had matchups that I thought you would be good at makes me wonder, maybe it is too early. But if you were to agree to go out right now and just do it, I wouldn't hate you. You've already got a legacy. You don't need to do it for us. But if you are going to do it, make that bag and you can make some charity work. I would build into your next contract, if they really want you that bad and you've got some leverage, that they better do something for your fight organization. So,
I hear you though. If you're unsure, it's not okay, jiu-jitsu is one thing, right? You can just tap. You're not going to take any brain trauma. You're probably going to be okay, even if you're unsure. But MMA is one of those things where I think you need to be damn sure, So if you're thinking about retirement and not sure if you should continue, I think that's your subconscious telling you that it's time to hang it up probably.
So let me bring this up. Ryan Aiken brings up a very, very good point, which is they got to do legends fights, not this whole up and comer versus legend fight. Yeah, and what's great is, one, Ryan, 100%, but two, didn't Poirier surprise us when he got that up and comer that last time? We were worried AF for that guy, and he still had it in the tank, and maybe not the number one slot, but at the very least, I was like, man, there's still something compelling about this dude. It's just at the risk of, what is his health? And that's the part that I think all of us struggle with, which is, hey, man, none of us know the future, but we know the damage you've taken. You mentioned a punch count. I don't want that dude to go over. And the last thing I think any of us want on our conscience is encouraging them to go fight if something bad were to happen to him. So that's the part
that's got to be the hardest part about being a coach for somebody like that, is knowing when to call it. And also a guy that's competed at that level, and imagine in his mind, he probably thinks he's still got it, because you have to believe that if you're going to step in the cage, right? So probably hard to convince him. But man, I work with RDA, Rafael dos Anjos, for his grappling, for his fights, and he's a legend, and they're trying to give him young and up and comers when he should just be fighting other legends. You know what I mean? He's got 5 fights left on his contract. He's not trying to fight the young and up and coming guy that's a stud. He's trying to fight another legend that he's 39, 40 years old. You know what I mean? He's just trying to finish his contract and make a little more money for his family. He's not trying to, he's already won the belt, So I find that interesting, that the UFC doesn't set up more of those legends fights, and they just try to kind of get their legends to just get assassinated, and then they go out like Chuck Liddell, no offense, like at the end of
Mm-hmm.
his career, just got knocked out by everybody. And I think that sucks. You know what I mean? I wish that didn't happen to him, because he knocked out so many people. But if he just would have like kind of walked away, he probably would, his legacy would be a little less like tarnished, you know. But I think he still has a great legacy, to be fair.
I'm legitimately still going back and forth on all of my thoughts on this, because I know what I've said and I'm going to stick to it. But I could easily be compelled to see, like, if Dustin came up to me and was like, yo, I got another fight, I'd be like, okay, go do it. But
yeah, for sure.
It's just, it's whether I want to see it and go through the same emotions I go through every time. So I don't know, man. But I wish him well. And you know what? His sauce is doing well enough. That dude doesn't need to make any more money. He's fine.
Making plenty of money. I'm like, bro, just ride off into the sunset, bro. You've had a great career. You haven't gotten like steamroll knocked out recently that I can recall. So like,
but it's also, dude, okay, so the other thing that he brought up and that is giving me pause is when he's like, oh, I would have retired if I won. And you think, like, that does sound like a really cool end movie moment if he had one.
Win the belt. Yeah.
But like, if you have that thought, then are you still going to be chasing that thought? And is that healthy to you? And then what else is there to do? So that was the part where I just kept going back and forth. And I didn't know where you would fall on the Dustin, because there is a high risk that some people might be like, oh, I like him, or I don't care. But I just feel like he's one of those fighters that universally we all care about. So that makes a compelling case to ask a question for. And Train Angry brings up a good point, which is the Diamond will be on Fight Pass Invitational next year. I hope so, man. I would really, really love to see him get involved in the grappling side. And you mentioned Dos Anjos. I mean, like, my man, he was great on Submission Underground. I'd like to see him come back. It would be good to get some of these guys. If we're talking about ways to integrate our legends without taking the same damage, I'll take these guys in grappling matches.
As far as grappling goes, he's a dog, man. He's still got it. His wrestling is it's not like NCAA wrestler, but he's got great MMA wrestling. Super hard to finish on, super hard to hold down. He's got a really good double leg. Like the guy's still an animal. He could definitely compete in some jiu-jitsu matches, I think.
Well, sir, we've gone through the entire gamut. We've run the gauntlet here, but what I normally like to ask people when we get to the end is, I created 6 prompts for you. Now I want to see if you have a prompt that you think could either trip me up or that you want to return serve to me. So is there any question or thing that you would like to get me to have a hot take on? The floor is open to you, sir. So please have at.
What do you think about why was Craig able to come up with all this money to pay for CJI and stuff in a very short amount of time? And why did ADCC not come up with this kind of money when we know obviously they have access to incredible amounts of money? Why like what do you think? What's the explanation for that? Do you think it's like a greed thing, or do you think it's like a keep people where they're at thing? What do you think that's about? Because I can't wrap my head around how Craig was able to come up with this money, like, and Mo obviously has access to tons of money, but it's taking this to make him start to pay.
I feel like Craig Estelada D. We'll start with that. No, you know what it is? Whoever picked Craig, I know from the comedic level, it is fun to say Craig's aloof. It's fun to say that Craig's this goofy guy. But behind him is a very calculated marketer who kind of understands the psychology of our sport. So while it seems like it's just lollygagging and giving out some money, it's a dude who's done excellent work as a marketer that's gone from apparel to DVDs and instructionals to a team to a brand where he's not even the best guy in the world per se, but it sure feels like it. And especially he's the best guy in the world at comments and trolling. So he definitely has that vibe. We've heard, and I know Daniel's putting us down here, he's guessing it's Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, let's assume it is because Craig did shoot it down, but Craig's also going to do a wink, wink, even if he is lying at you kind of a thing. I want to point this out. If it were to be somebody like Craig or like Mark Zuckerberg or something to that effect, I feel like they entrust Craig with enough to make something happen because he also has a connection with the athletes. And I think that those two things are compelling reasons to get them to either cross over or to make a statement. And here's the good news. Statement's already made. Women got more pay. People are getting show money. It is telling the ADCC, it's giving them feedback for the first time. And they've been able to shoot down that feedback because it's like, well, who are you? And it's like, well, that's your top guy. Like, if one of your top guys is telling you some feedback, you can't dismiss it like people don't know. That dude makes money
Right.
and makes more money than he would in any form in winning. So there is that. Okay. But your question is, why them versus ADCC?
Like, why did you think
Mhm.
it took this for ADCC to consider even up in the pay?
So what it is that I think it's a difference of philosophy because ADCC clearly has money, but they're going to play like they don't have money to give to athletes, but they're going to go to this big arena. And I think most philosophy is that if you put it in the big arena, then sports can see it as a bigger presentation. It's just what I've always said for years is that ADCC is a great tournament, but not a great TV product. And most people who create TV products do not go for the larger venue in an unproven sport or a niche sport. You don't get the big T-Mobile arena that costs more because most TV products say, give me something cheap and refillable, thus your Apex Center. And that's for a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So when you look at us, a small sport, you're saying like, hey, but if we hang with those people, then they can start putting us together. So in that regard, I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe that's kind of why it is. But I would just tell you this, that difference of philosophy is so drastically different that the person with the keys in hand, Mo, who's orchestrating this, is unfortunately blind to what the needs of so many of these athletes are who are struggling, and maybe he's doing stuff for them on the side. We talk a lot about these deals, and I like that Mo has been pushing back and saying like, well, you're the one not talking about disclosing pay yet, and you're the one not going to have people sign NDAs. But if it is true and they do take money on the side, that might as well be an NDA, in my opinion, because you're basically buying their consent to say like, hey, no, you're more important than this person, but let's never talk about it. And I think
Yeah.
what they're saying is that's not a sustainable, let's not talk about it aspect. Because how are you supposed to pay for everyone if only a few people are getting the exceptions? So I would say it really comes down to philosophy and how the business model works for those two different individuals. Craig has what hopes to be more of a transparent one, but I do feel like it has a lot of burden from the production side because it's supposed to be more entertaining. And I think Craig has said he purposely wants it to be a little bit more lo-fi, whereas ADCC says, let's make it look like we belong, though clearly we don't. And that
Yeah.
their model is fake it until you make it. So that way other sports look at us in the same way of giving money like NASCAR or like other major sports. I just don't think we fit that same checklist there. So
Yeah.
that's
No.
kind of why I lean more towards that. It's actually a responsible thing to give Craig that money, at least on paper. And from the sound
Yeah.
of it, the talent he's acquired, it's very compelling. So to me, taking a thing that went from a hypothetical to a real threat in the span of a month and a half has been fascinating to watch.
Yeah. Super crazy, dude. But also, like, I think athletes having money and like a big reason that people are motivated to play basketball or football or baseball or hockey or whatever is those guys are loaded. If you make it, if you're a pro, like you're multimillionaire, like you're set. So in my mind, it's like, who cares where the venue is? It's like if these athletes are living a certain type of lifestyle, the one that like Gordon kind of shows that he's living, that's going to inspire more people to want to do this so they can financially be set doing what they love. So I feel like no matter how you cut it, it's just like, I understand difference in philosophy. That's the reason, but I
Yeah.
just can't understand their philosophy. It's like, we get T-Mobile Arena and we can't afford to pay the athletes, and then the drummers and the freaking popcorn stand and the guy who's working the freaking parking lot are making more money
Well,
than the
hold
guys
on,
who
hold on.
won
Let me
trials.
be very clear. The people who are working those positions, let's not talk shit about them. I get that we're doing it as a
No, I'm not even trying to talk shit,
no,
but
no, no.
they're
I'm saying
literally
as a
getting
for
paid
instance,
more than.
but they have to watch grappling, so I do feel they earn their money. So
No, no,
there
I'm
is
not
that.
saying they don't earn their money, but should they be making as much money as somebody who won the trials or
So
like one of the
here's what it
best
comes down
grapplers in
to.
the world?
I
That's
think
crazy to me.
I think what we're getting down to is athletes in our sport don't make enough money. So if you want to be the top sport, maybe you should pay like the top sport. And if you're
That's
not
what I'm saying.
that, then maybe there's something wrong with the model. And so what happens is if people get challenged in that way and they can't take that constructive criticism, which has been a huge problem for ADCC, then those cracks start to show. And so I
Yeah.
think what happens is it invites discussion. And I think Mo sees it more as like, yo, this is not a community public office for open forum for you guys to
Right.
tell me how this works. I tell you how it
Yeah, he
works.
made that clear.
And I think as a result of that, you know, there's somebody who, when they have the keys to the car, some people are going to backseat drive. And it's a matter of, well, do I like the way you backseat drive or do I not? And he does not clearly like the way a lot of people backseat drive. It's just different when you have an F1 racer in the backseat of your car who's like, you know, you could do this
Right.
and you could
No,
do
it's
that.
true.
So
True.
it's not just that nobodies are talking. It's that whenever I speak as somebody who's worked in television productions. So I've worked with a lot of people who I've worked with some like Mo, and I've worked with a lot of different other talents and people that I've seen put on multi-million-dollar productions and do it with relative ease. So when I've given notes, it's always for, I want the product to be better. And it's not even a, you need to congratulate me. I don't need to have a moment where people bring me out in the middle of the mats during the middle of a worlds to say thank you. Like, I don't need that. I just want it to be better. And I'd much rather that if you don't want to take the note, cool, but understand why you're getting the note. And that
Yeah.
in that regard, I think that's kind of why they push back, because they're just like, no, we're going to run it our way. And God bless them. But at the same
Yeah.
point, it could be in a year's time that if they do make another Craig Jones Invitational, a lot of that conversation can change. Because what you're talking about when they're like, oh, loyalty and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, bro, nobody's using that shit in fucking NBA. Nobody's using it in the NFL. Like,
Yeah, bro. People
these
get
guys don't
traded.
have
You know what I
time for
mean?
your bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the same kind of manipulation that happens at jiu-jitsu gyms when they tell you can't cross-train.
Yep.
They loyalty. It's like, bro, I'm paying to be here. I'm going to go where's best for me. And it's like, if I'm putting my well-being on the line, I'm going to go where's best for me.
Yeah.
It's not like loyalty. It's a business. You know what I mean? It's, but anyway.
I mean, listen, dude, you ask a good question. I feel like it's still one in flux. And I think the only weird thing about it is we're still in the process of seeing which philosophy is going to play out a little bit better, because there is a possibility that the long-term plan by ADCC does get us some of those big sponsors, and maybe that gets them important pay to start. But you know what's really interesting is most business models for other sports come from not just their gate, which I don't think we can depend on, but from their TV deals. And guess where you get the best TV deals? When you know your demos. Where do you get your demos? If you put a free product on YouTube and suddenly you know exactly what your demo is. And I have a feeling we're going to be very strong in the male 18 to 34 demo that might put us in a conversation, while not at the UFC level, at least one that looks attractive from a free TV product with the right distribution partner. So yeah, I would say that model seems, as foolish as it is and as trolling as it is, not that foolish. So
No, I think you're right on, and that's why he's putting it on YouTube, I think, so everybody can watch it, so he can get those numbers, you know. So
When Craig told me he was putting it on YouTube, I was like, oh. The TV guy in me immediately was like, okay. You know, I was like, sounds good, man. You know, because on the first level, it's just, I understand you've had issues with flow. I understand there's disagreements there. So why would you want to get a streaming partner? And then at the same point, I'm like, oh, you're going to blow ADCC's numbers out of the water.
Yep.
Just given the talent that shows up, there's no way a pay-per-view model will outdraw you. In fact, you might ratio it like a 3-1. Or, you know, if you expand because they don't reveal their numbers, I'm like, dude, at max, I could see 100K people. 100K is like maybe the top tier of the number of people who subscribe and watch ADCC. And I think that might be generous, but that's just a ballpark figure. If Craig ends up getting 600,000 viewers, you will have outdone it by 6 times. And that's an important factor if I'm a guy at a network cutting a deal with somebody.
It is. It is.
I hope that I answered that question thoroughly. I wanted to give it the respect it deserves.
That was exactly what I wanted to hear. That was excellent.
Oh no. Okay, hold on. We got a couple notes here. Grappling is 2 major sports like rollerblading is to the X Games. I mean, that's fair. And it says, but I love the Pride Lady 3-hour intro. You know what's really unfortunate is I love Leanne. I think she's amazing. I felt it was unfair to her to have her go on and just do all of the names at once. And I thought, oh no. And then we have assholes in the comment section who are being mean to her, but the note there is maybe spread those out. Like from a production standpoint, I don't think we need to be like every member of B Team walking in and being like, it's Ethan.
Yeah. No, totally. And people that don't know the history of Pride, they were like deterred by it. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But it hurt me to see her take that when I've done nothing but love what she's done. It's just the part of me that goes, yeah, you're not wrong. It's a bad setup from a production thing. It's just, again, TV producers. And I think Mo is apparently hiring new people from the production side. I hope they have a mind for, hey, Mo, can I see your rundown? Do you know what a rundown is? So TV talk, rundown means what's the order of things? And then how do you tell this camera person to do this? And okay. Yeah, you don't have one. Okay. Well, we're just gonna, we're going to work on that together. So it's my hope that this tournament becomes a better TV product, because as it is, it's a compelling tournament that does have some innate drama into it, but it gets lost in the fold. Oh no, Brushy. Oh yes, coming from Brazil. Yes. All of our comments, at least we're on the same page. I don't feel like you guys are being complete assholes, but in a lot of comment sections, I was like, yo, don't go at her like that. That's, I like Train being like, they set her up. They did a little bit there. I can't disagree with that. JB, here's the good news. We've run the gauntlet. We've definitely gone all the way through. I'd like to give you a moment to plug whatever you'd like to plug, sir, for making it all the way through. So I am going to put the camera on you. Feel free to tell people where they can see you and where they can come train with you, sir.
Yeah. If you're ever down in Austin, come check out B Team. Shout out to my sponsor, Fight Aesthetic. They made this awesome shirt, and they give me all the coolest gear. Shout out to Evertight and HRT, taking care of the boys, keeping us young and healthy. And my Instagram is jbear174. And that's pretty much it.
JB, you are always a pleasure to talk to, man. One of the sanest people I know from the goons over at B Team. And I have to say, man, when I saw that you were starting to go in the firefighting direction, I was like, we better not be losing this asshole because he's pretty entertaining. So I want you to, of course,
I'll still be around.
You better be around. It's not a choice. It's not like I'm giving you the Dustin Poirier, like, I don't know. I hope he does one thing. No. I can tell you have to stay here in some capacity. But
for sure.
Super happy about that. And I'm going to say bye to you off air in just a second, but I'm going to close up this bitch. But my thanks to you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
All right, you guys. That has been our installment of Running the Gauntlet. I've got news for you. If you like seeing me, I'm not going anywhere. So what's going to happen is we're going to take a quick little break, a little siesta, but we're going to be back in about 20 so minutes with another live presentation. We're going to be doing the bullpen with myself and Tim Freeman. We have some topics to bring to your attention. So we'll have the board, a different board, our PTI inspired board, I guess you could call it. But we have the board, we have 8 new topics, and myself and Tim will walk our way through that. We're very stoked to have you guys, so don't go anywhere. And if you are going to go somewhere, just call us back up on your little thing here. Thank you for the very nice notes here, Train and Daniel. Appreciate you guys. So here's the reminders. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't know what you want to comment on, tell us the order of the LaCroix that you believe are supposed to be the correct ones. We went through the following, which was tangerine, berry, lemon, and lime. And I'm going to give you a little hint here. Hibiscus? It's underrated. Of those, I kind of like hibiscus. Hibiscus, because they have the hyphen there. Yeah, hibiscus. That's the one. So that's what we got going on right there. And last other reminders, I told you to like, comment, subscribe. Find us on YouTube. It is a like, comment, subscribe there. Find us on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Go to patreon.com/grappling hour. Become a member. See our interviews 30 days before anybody else. We've got a lot of great people coming up very, very soon. And I saw Ryan Aiken was in the comments. I'm interviewing him on Friday. So my new members will see that immediately, while all of the rest of you goons will see it in about a month's time. So that's what I got for you guys today. It has been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.